Good morning. We'd like to call the Kankakee County Board meeting, full board meeting for May 9th to order. Today's invocation is from Chad Miller.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please assume an attitude of prayer. Most compassionate and loving God, we gather in this time of spring, rebirth, and optimism as those who are making decisions seeking to improve our communities. We have much to pray for, good and gracious God. Give us an openness to listen to our community's needs. Give us joyful spirits and an eagerness to engage others. Give us hopeful imagination and creative vision. Please help us to focus on each other's qualities and on our common ground instead of our differences. We give thanks for giving us the capability and patience to see things from different perspectives and the ability to respect those who have different points of view. Help us to always respect this sacred space where our missions meet to improve our communities. We ask that you would guide our thoughts and actions to bring you glory. We thank you for your goodness, your mercy, and your grace. Help us to carry these wonderful gifts in our hearts and lives. And please be with our farmers with a safe start to a successful growing season. Lord, bless us here today and give success to our work. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You should be on, sir. Need a roll call.
Mr. Hess. Present. Mr. Tholen. Present. Mrs. Polk.
Present.
Mr. Snipes.
Present.
Mr. Seroy. Mrs. Weber.
Present.
Mrs. Parker.
Present.
Mr. Fairfield.
Present.
Mr. Carrico.
Present.
Mr. Eckhoff.
Present.
Mr. Swanson.
Present.
Mr. Featherling.
Present.
Mr. Donnell. Mr. Miller.
Present.
Mr. Long.
Present.
Mr. Kirkstra.
Present.
Mr. Hunter.
Present.
Mr. Smith.
Present.
Mr. Alexander Hildebrand.
Present.
Ms. Foster.
Present.
Ms. Andrade.
Present.
Ms. Armour Earps.
Present.
Mr. Ashcraft.
Present.
Ms. Monday.
Present.
Ms. Ripmanick-Emmy.
Present.
Mr. Scanlon.
Present.
Ms. Turner.
Present.
Mr. Wheeler.
Present.
We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Quick question, Mr. Featherling. Do you expect to be off for this month? Should we vote you in for the entire month until the next full board meeting? You're on mute, sir. Because we have to have a motion to admit.
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks, sir.
4 to 6 weeks? All right, can I get a motion for 4 to 6 weeks? Mr. Scanlon, second. Go with Dr. Polk. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Let's see here. Don't have any public comment, nothing submitted. There's anybody here? We have a proclamation for Safe Boating Week submitted by Mr. Carrico. Not to put you on the spot, would you like to read that in the record, sir? Would you like Dan to do it? Okay, you win.
A proclamation in support of National Safe Boating Week. May 20th to 26th, 2023. During National Safe Boating Week, the U.S. Coast Guard and its federal, state, and local safe boating partners encourage all boaters to explore and enjoy America's beautiful waters responsibly. Whereas National Safe Boating Week is observed to bring attention to important life-saving tips for recreational boaters so they can have a safer, more fun experience out on the water throughout the year. Whereas recreational boating is fun and enjoyable, and the citizens and visitors of the Kankakee County are fortunate that we have a beautiful river to accommodate the wide variety of pleasure boating demands. And whereas at times our Kankakee River can become crowded and boating to the unprepared can be a risky activity. And whereas on average 700 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the United States, approximately 75% of these fatalities are caused by drowning. And whereas the vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. And whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today if they had worn their life jackets. So therefore be it proclaimed on this day, May 20th through 26th, 2023, as National Safe Boating Week and the start of the year-round effort to promote safe boating and urge those who boat to always wear a life jacket while boating.
Mr. Carrico, would you make a motion to accept that proclamation? Is there a second on that? Ms. Monday, any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion carries. We are going to do the certificate of appreciation next month for the state's attorney's office. The minutes of the last meeting from April 11th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve there?
Polk.
Dr. Polk, a second. Ms. Parker, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Claims Committee report, please.
Mr. Chairman and members of the County Board, your Committee on County Claims would beg leave to report they have examined the following claims presented and recommend payment. The clerk is hereby authorized and directed to issue orders to the several claimants in total of $8,108,822.05.
Mr. Ackoff, would you have that motion from Finance? Is there a second? Mr. Long, any other comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hess.
Aye.
Mr. Tholen.
Aye.
Mrs. Polk.
Aye.
Mr. Snipes.
Aye.
Mrs. Weber. Mrs. Parker. Mr. Fairfield.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Eckhoff.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Featherling.
Present. Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra.
Aye.
Mr. Hodder. Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Hildebrand.
Aye.
Ms. Foster.
Aye.
Ms. Andrade.
Aye.
Ms. Armour Erks.
Aye.
Mr. Ashcraft.
Aye.
Ms. Monday.
Aye.
Ms.
Aye.
Rittman-McEmmey. Mr. Scanlon. Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Mr. Wheeler.
Aye. Motion carries. Under department reports, you might have a few.
County Collector's Monthly Report for March 2023. Total cash and bank and investments of $1,387,572.35. County Treasurer's Monthly Report for March 2023. Tax operating account at First American Bank, the ending balance is $1,270,899.05. Tax collection account at First American Bank, the ending balance is $337.85. The tax e-pay account at First American Bank, the ending balance is $116,335.45. Coroner's Monthly Report for March 2023, total calls 82, coroners 15, autopsies 4, toxicology 4, 2 donations, 41 hospice, 26 referral, 57 cremations, 2 x-rays, and coroner's income summary report for March 2023, total of $3,374. Circuit clerk cash book for month ending March 2023, total disbursed $413,792.17. Recorder's monthly report disbursed for March 2023, disbursement fees paid to the county treasurer of $118,569.40. County Clerk's monthly report for March 2023, total of $41,344.53. Monthly Building Division report for March 2023, total permits of 74, total fees of $43,771. Animal Control monthly report for March 2023, total of $27,255, and total animals handled 56. Monthly resolution list for May 2023, total to the county of $1,435.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Is there a motion to combine and approve the department reports? Mr. Fairfield, second. Mr. Tholen, any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Under consent, I just mentioned the first item. It should say May 9th instead of February 9th. That's a typo on there. Beyond that, is there any other item that needs to come off to be considered separately? I'll let you look through there momentarily. Second time. Anything need to come off to be considered separately? All right, is there a motion to combine and approve? Both Mr. Hunter, a second. Was that Mr. Hess in the back, I believe? All righty, I guess we have to get him read in the record.
The appointment of Scott T. Dillman to the Grant Park Fire Protection District, the reappointment of Troy Kaufman to the Limestone Fire Protection District, the reappointment of Maurice O'Keefe to the Mantino.
I gotta say something about Dave Horn, I forgot.
You want to go ahead?
I apologize.
That's okay.
We also have to pull the Dave Horn item. They mixed up the trustee that was supposed to be expired. So they sent us the wrong paperwork for the trustee that was expired. Next month we'll fix that one with the correct person. So he's still there. We forgot to mention that we're pulling that from the agenda. I apologize for that. It just happened this morning, so. Sorry about that.
That's
So don't
okay.
read that one.
The reappointment of Maurice O'Keefe to the Manteno Community Fire Protection District. The reappointment of Willie Ames to the Kankakee County Zoning Board of Appeals. The reappointment of David DeYoung to the Kankakee County Zoning Board of Appeals. Agreement to approve decommissioning plan and bond in the amount of $191,663 for the Irwin Solar Farm project. Agreement to approve decommissioning plan and bond in the amount of $176,988 for the Vifault CSG1 Solar Farm project. Agreement to approve decommissioning plan and bond in the amount of $178,582 for the Vifault CSG2 Solar Farm project.
Thank you. We had the motion to combine on in a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hess.
Aye.
Mr. Tholen. Aye. Mrs. Polk.
Aye.
Mr. Snipes.
Aye.
Mrs. Weber. Mrs. Parker. Mr. Fairfield.
Aye.
Mr. Carrico. Mr. Eckhoff. Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Featherling.
Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Long. Mr. Kirkstra.
Aye.
Mr. Hunter. Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Hildebrand.
Aye.
Ms. Foster. Ms. Andrade. Ms. Armour Earps. Mr. Ashcraft.
Aye.
Ms. Monday.
Aye.
Ms. Rittman McEmmy.
Aye.
Mr. Scanlon.
Aye.
Ms. Turner. Mr. Wheeler.
Aye. Motion carries. Under PZA, if we could get the title read in the record, and then Del can give us an explanation of what's going on there.
Resolution of the County Board of Kankakee County, Illinois regarding ZBA Case 23-06, text amendment to the County Code, Section 121-37, administration and enforcement.
Is there a motion to approve on this first to start with out of PZA? Mrs. Weber, Mr. Ashcraft with a second. Go ahead, Del.
Okay. Next one down, Kelly. No. You're way off. Might be easier to go to the top. Anyway, we can probably get started because that's a little hard to read up there anyway. You should have the full text in your packet, maybe on your screens there. Okay. Our current zoning ordinance places some variances into which are usually relatively minor variances, into a category where they are approved or denied by the Zoning Board of Appeals. So you have your public hearing, the zoning board votes on it, and it's done. And we felt that not having the checks and balances of going all the way to the county board was just not good government, and we really needed those checks and balances. So we've altered the ordinance to amend that section of it to make all variances, regardless of what type, go all the way to the county board for final approval. So if you look at the document, everything in red is being stricken from it, and there is only one addition, and that's where, next page down, I believe, where it says all of them will go to the full county board for approval. Both Planning and Zoning Committee and the Zoning Board recommend the amendment.
All right, is there any other questions about that? It was pretty cut and dried. It's we do use ZBA as a recommendation. Citizens Board, they vote. We have to establish, if we go against their own findings of fact, we have to establish our own. So they're a valuable part of the process, but it shouldn't end in certain cases at ZBA. In some of these cases, it should come to the county board, or in all cases, it should come to the county board, because we're the ones who are definitely on the hook for those decisions.
Yeah, it's really good to have that extra review,
Yeah.
and those extra eyes on it. So.
It's not that we don't value their opinion and input, it's essential. It's just we need to make the final decision. That's our job. So, if there's any other thoughts, we ready for a voice vote? All those in favor? Oh, yes, please.
How long a process will that take? So I know you have to go to 2 county boards, and then after it gets approved, then it will come here. So what is the time frame for an individual?
It depends on how you hit the calendars. Most of the time, from the time you hit the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to county board approval is about a month.
Yeah.
We usually tell people 2 to 3 months, just to
just to give them some expectation, but usually about a month, month and a half.
And if it were to be like, the only way that it would go longer is if that filing went right after we just had those meetings.
Right.
Because it has to go in the paper and there's like X
Yeah,
amount of days.
there's a 15-day wait before the hearing because you have to notify all the surrounding property.
I just was curious for our,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? I guess all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Del. Under finance, if we can just get the title read in the record, please.
Resolution authorizing the chairman of the Kankakee County Board to execute an agreement between the County of Kankakee and Kankakee County Health Department and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Council 31, AFL-CIO, for and on behalf of Local 1874.
Is there a motion to allow me to sign this on behalf of the county, Mr. Eckhoff, Mr. Fairfield? And if there is a good reason, I can't remember what it is, Mr. Coghlan can remind me, but we don't negotiate this contract. We don't really even pay it. It's health department has their own board and their own tax levy, but we have, for some reason, I have to sign off on it. But I'm happy to do so, but so we don't, all the stipulations in there that they don't really matter to us. I'm just letting you know it's a pure functionary thing that we're doing right now. And so I couldn't even comment on the contract, to be honest. So it's about the best way to put it. Other than that, ready for a roll call? All right, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hess.
Aye.
Mr. Tholen.
Aye.
Mrs. Polk.
Aye.
Mr. Snipes.
Aye.
Mrs. Weber.
Aye.
Mrs. Parker.
Aye.
Mr. Fairfield.
Aye.
Mr. Carrico.
Aye.
Mr. Eckhoff.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Featherling.
Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra.
Aye.
Mr. Hunter.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Hildebrand.
Aye.
Ms. Foster.
Aye.
Ms. Andrade.
Aye.
Ms. Armour Erps.
Aye.
Mr. Ashcraft.
Aye.
Ms. Monday.
Aye.
Ms. Ripmanick-Emmy.
Aye.
Mr. Scanlon.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Mr. Wheeler.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Under the ARPA funding requests for, let's see here, the lost revenue and the ARPA section, both of the, just those two sections, not social service. Is there anything that needs to come off, discussed separately, 129 through 137? Is there anything, because we went through all of these in committee. Hope you had a chance to watch committee. If there's anyone you want to talk about separately, we can do so. Nope. Second time? All right, if we could get the titles.
You want a motion to come on and approve?
Oh, I'm sorry. Combine and approve, Mr. Eckhoff. Let's go with Mr. Tholen. Any? No, no questions? Okay. So if we could get them right into the
Okay.
record.
Authorizing expenditure from fiscal year 2023, Fund 95, America Rescue Plan Fund for the following: Joe Bennett's Drainage District, Iroquois Mental Health Center, Brookmont Bowling, Village of Essex, St. Paul's Lutheran School in Bourbonnais, Team Print, and D&D Distributing. And then from Fund 98, America Rescue Lost Revenue Fund, to the Kankakee County Coroner for tankless water heater, and to the Kankakee County Recorder.
Okay. And from that, then we just need a roll call vote.
Mr. Hess.
Aye.
Mr. Tholen.
Aye.
Mrs. Polk.
Aye.
Mr. Snipes.
Aye.
Mrs. Weber.
Aye.
Mrs. Parker. Mr. Fairfield.
Aye.
Mr. Carrico.
Aye.
Mr. Eckhoff.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Featherling.
Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra.
Aye.
Mr. Hunter.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Hildebrand.
Aye.
Ms. Foster.
Aye.
Ms. Andrade.
Aye.
Ms. Armour Erps.
Aye.
Mr. Ashcraft. Ms. Monday.
Aye.
Ms. Ripmanick-Emmy.
Aye.
Mr. Scanlon.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Mr. Wheeler.
Motion carries. Under, for 138, if we can get the title read in the record real quick.
Authorizing expenditure from fiscal year 2023, Fund 95, America Rescue Plan Fund, to Kankakee County Health Department, IRIS.
I guess it'd be appropriate, Mr. Carrico, is that a motion that you would make, being our representative on that board and the chair? He makes that motion to approve. Is there a second? We'll go with Mr. Hunter on that one with the second. I want to make sure everybody understands this, because this is really kind of our request. We designed the social service programs to include the use of this system. We set out on this path well over a year and a half ago. So anybody that we're giving social programming money to has to use this system. So this is allowing us to purchase it for the $16,000, but also hire the person who's going to go out into the community and train all of the service providers on the value, and then what you're going to be able to get out of it, which is the data that would allow us to be able to decide what possibly needs to be funded after 26. As we're spending money, we want to know that it's having an impact in the certain areas that aren't. Why would you fund? And the things that are working, that's when you go start knocking on the doors for the nickels. So, and in this case, I think they're dimes these days. So is there any questions about that? I want to make sure this is a total health department, county board partnership here, and a lot of enthusiastic people behind this to get this going. The tool could translate all the way from somebody walking into one service provider for whatever they do, and then they could find out that a lot of their issues are for either substance abuse or lack of transportation or lack of a job or whatever else. This plugs them into those people that actually do that. It's a referral system, and it's a huge step in this community. Cannot describe how much this could mean to us if it works like it should. So otherwise, if there's no questions, roll call vote.
Mr. Hess.
Aye.
Mr. Tholen.
Aye.
Mrs. Polk.
Aye.
Mr. Snipes.
Aye.
Mrs. Weber.
Aye.
Mrs. Parker.
Aye.
Mr. Fairfield.
Aye.
Mr. Carrico.
Aye.
Mr. Eckhoff.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Featherling.
Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra.
Aye.
Mr. Hunter. Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Hildebrand.
Aye.
Ms. Foster.
Aye.
Ms. Andrade.
Aye.
Ms. Armour Earps.
Aye.
Mr. Ashcraft.
Aye.
Ms. Monday.
Aye.
Ms. Rittmanick-Emmy.
Aye.
Mr. Scanlon.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Mr. Wheeler.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. And thank you to the health department leadership and their board for working with us on this. They see the value, and they're going to run with it over the next 3 years. And then if we keep doing it after that, it's a ridiculously low amount of money that we may not even have to ask all of the community providers. We could just pay for them. 16 grand, that's really not a lot if you're connecting all of the social service providers. So, and then if it doesn't work, why would you spend the money, right? So that's what we'll know in 26. Thank you. The next one, if we could get the title of that read in the record.
Resolution of the County Board of Kankakee County, Illinois, authorizing expenditure from fiscal year 2023, Fund 95, America Rescue Plan Fund to United Way.
Is there a motion on this we'll go with Ms. Monday and a second with Ms. Andrade. Is there anybody on the committee that vetted this stuff that wants to speak? Please feel free. I'll tee it up, but this goes along with the IRIS position, but it's really on the birth to K area. This is where they're focusing on, and John knows more about this, than I do, but the United Way portion of it is for them to get out and drive, before the kids get into school, what these things are, the services are provided, and then connected in the K through 12. That was my understanding as what they were looking to do. And so these are, what we just passed before is going to work very closely with this individual. Where they're going to be housed is yet to be determined, but we're just funding the position for them to go out and really tackle this problem all the way, again, birth through 12. And maybe even after a little bit, if it's people that have graduated, to get them into vocational training or whatever else, training center, KCC, the whole deal, the whole spectrum. So things that really drive down the cost of what the taxpayers have to pay for in the county, which is 80% is public safety. So if you're able to attack that, which we know a lot of the public safety is where we have those mental health interactions, whether it's mental health, substance abuse, lack of training, lack of skills, all those things mixed together. If we can address that, it actually impacts people's tax bill along with other people's lives. So I think that's what we're looking to do. And am I missing anything there, John?
I don't think so.
Okay. You got most of the info in there from the committee side? Nope. All right, we have a motion and a second.
Mr. Hess. Aye. Mr. Tholen. Aye. Mrs. Polk.
Aye.
Mr. Snipes. Aye. Mrs. Weber. Aye. Mrs. Parker.
Aye.
Mr. Fairfield.
Aye.
Mr. Carrico.
Aye.
Mr. Eckhoff.
Aye.
Mr. Swanson.
Aye.
Mr. Featherling.
Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Long.
Aye.
Mr. Kirkstra.
Aye.
Mr. Hunter.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Hildebrand.
Aye.
Ms. Foster.
Aye.
Ms. Andrade. Ms. Armour Erps.
Aye.
Mr. Ashcraft.
Aye.
Ms. Monday.
Aye.
Ms. Ripman-Akemi.
Aye.
Mr. Scanlon.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Mr. Wheeler.
Aye. Motion carries. Well, we might have some openings.
So, one opening on the McGillivray Special Drainage District, one opening on the Kankakee County Convention and Visitors Bureau, one opening on the Kankakee River Valley Forest Preserve District Board, one opening on the University of Illinois Extension, one opening on the Cabery Area Fire Protection District, one opening on the Essex Township Fire Protection District, one opening on the Otto Township Fire Protection District, one opening on the St. Anne Fire Protection District, two openings on the Bourbonnais Fire Protection District, two openings on the Kankakee County Board of Review, and 5 openings on the Kankakee County Ethics Commission.
All righty. And did you say the ZBA is going to be on PZA meetings? You're announcing the opening on the ZBA? Okay, all right. Sorry, I had to clear something up. Mr. Hess?
Thank you, Chairman.
Oh, hold on, sorry.
Thank you, Chairman. Can we add the moments on here? I mean, we're not voting on anything, just so we don't lose another month in between.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Even though they're kind of doing that internally, we still should announce it here. So one opening as a trustee on the Moments Fire Protection District. So if there is somebody else that wants to apply, obviously the same that would apply, God, she's saying word twice. If there's 2 people that come to executive committee and one motion comes out of that. So if it's 3, same. Is there any new business today? Anything do we need to be bringing up? Any old business? Yes, Mr. Snipes.
I think I would have to direct this to Jim Rowe. Is there a status update as to the Attorney General's opinion concerning the conversation of county board members?
What conversation?
The conversation that we had when you spoke with Elizabeth Monroe, and she told you at that time it wasn't her office that to forward it to the other office regarding Section 9B of the Illinois State Constitution.
No update.
So it's still in process?
As far as I know.
Thank you.
Any other old business? All right, is there a motion to? Yes, Ms. Monday, second. Mr. Smith, on this one, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign.